Look, I'll be honest, I don't know what to post. And also, I recorded 2 videos with New Kid.
But I lost footage
that I needed for that video. So I can't even upload that one anymore. Oh, blah. I have so much new makeup that I bought that I thought I was gonna review, but I'm not reviewing because I just don't feel like making dedicated videos for them. I don't know what to do. I'm just gonna do a get ready with me while I talk about going to New York and stuff. So let's start with this Innisfree Pore Blur Primer. I like her. I'm gonna just squirt it here, and it's different from other pore primers in that it's more of like a creamy sort of primer that is more wet. It's not like one of those dry silicone ones. I use my fingers to push it in, and then I let it dry. And so it creates a sort of film on my face. It is, what is the date? I have no idea. It's been about a week since I came back from New York. I went to KCON LA. I've been to New York. I mean, it's not like I don't like New York. It's just, I have said this many times, I just don't like traveling. So we just went, because we went about a week before KCON, just so that Jimmy, Friday, and Aoora could explore New York. And I walked around with them. Was it fun? It was alright. I really just went for Sephora, did some damage there. And every time I go back to America, I mean, I'm American myself, but it's just, America has some of the strangest people. I mean, I'm sure everywhere has strange people, but America is just, especially New York, there are some interesting characters there. For my foundation, I'm gonna use Jenny. I actually only started using this yesterday. I was filming a documentary with this crew. They wanted to go to one of these makeup shops that they have in Korea. We went to Jenniehouse, which is the makeup shop that 101 always went to. And they do lots of celebrities. So they have their own makeup line, and they gave me and the host a bag of goodies. Goodies. It's the Ultra Fit Serum Cushion, and I like it because it's not too dry. I like matte foundations, but I like that this really works with concealer, which is what I'm going to use, the cream concealer, which is what I'm going to use next. So take a little bit. I want to show you, I think it's always interesting because when I went to the shop, there was a makeup artist that did my makeup, and I rarely get my makeup done by someone else. So it's nice and interesting to see how other people do makeup and to get it done by like someone that does like celebrities. You know, when you just like learn a new technique and you get so inspired by it. I was having one of those moments. With KCON LA at the convention center that we do it at, the room that all the YouTubers, influencers, whatever are in, there's like a window that you can look out of to look at the convention floor. And so some people will like see us sometimes staring out the window, and we can kind of like wave to people. But in New York, you can't really do that because it was a new venue this year, but the green room, they call it, is like in the very back. So if you want to go see the convention floor, you have to actually go out into the convention floor. And the thing is, I just never get a chance to like see KCON. I'm always at KCON viewing it from the green room, or I'm just stuck in the green room. And so I never really get a chance to go out and see like the festivities. And to be honest, they don't like it when I go outside because I end up like starting a crowd. Whenever people ask me for pictures, I always make sure to stop and take pictures with them, but then that starts like a whole line, and KCON is not just KCON, but like the fire marshal, is that what you call it? The people in charge of, you know, maintaining the fire code, they don't have it. They don't like it. So just a light layer all over. I'm not trying to cover everything. That's what the concealer is going to be for. Okay, now I know it's like a big thing to use like liquid concealers these days to kind of like put here, and I like doing that myself as well, but this is sort of like the shop way of doing it. I'm sure there's other shops that don't do it this way, but this is what I notice a lot of makeup artists tend to do in Korea, and I feel like really gives you that kind of perfect looking skin. It does take a lot longer though than just like swiping on a concealer and blending it out with like a sponge or something. But what you need is like a cream concealer. This is the Pony Effect one that I've been using for a long time. It's in beige, and you want to make sure it is the exact color or at least close to the same color as your foundation. And then one of these concealer brushes. I mean, you can use your finger, I guess, but it's a little bit different. This is a Picasso 195 brush, and it helps that there's like it's kind of like pointed, but basically it's just a really flat synthetic brush, basically like a little mini flat foundation brush. And I would even go so far as to say you could probably get something like this at the art supply store for like painting, but I haven't been to one of those in years, so don't quote me. So I'm dipping into the concealer and blending it on my hand first so it's even on the brush. And basically what they do is they literally, whatever imperfections you have, they just keep tapping at it. I'm gonna swipe on it first and tap. And this will not only cover it, but also, what is it? Push it into the skin. And so, I mean, I don't really have any blemishes to cover, but if you have acne, you know, spots, any redness, then this is how I recommend covering it. If you have more like large areas of redness that you need to cover that the foundation didn't cover, that's when I would use like a liquid concealer. The way I see it, the way I handle it is foundation evens out your overall complexion, liquid concealer covers larger areas of redness, and then cream concealers or stick concealers, they cover more concentrated like dark circles or like spots. At KCON though, we had our stage with Trophy Cat, but there was some not necessarily miscommunication, but I guess lack of communication behind the scenes. Aoora was supposed to perform his new song called Black Sugar. While he was singing it, the music video that we like rushed to finish would play in the back of the stage on the big LED screen, but the crew didn't have any of those assets, so they didn't even know like we were there. They're like, what are you doing? And we were like, we're gonna perform, because we brought like a DJ box and everything for Friday to, you know, but the crew had no idea what was going on. And this is like 3 o'clock when we're supposed to be there already, like ready to get on stage. So we still were able to, you know, do the rest of our performance, aka me fucking just like flapping around on stage, not knowing what the fuck I'm doing. It's really important to get around the nose. I feel like when you have like redness around your nose, it makes your nose look a little bit bigger. And in general, it kind of like, especially if you wear things like a red lipstick or red blush, it really makes everything, all the redness around your face stand out. So it's important to get around there. There's also dark circle. Don't forget like here, this part can be really red. And I like that this has a point because you can get it right here. I met DK at KCON New York.
They're so cute in person.
I know, but apparently they follow me, or not follow me. They see my videos. They watch my videos. They were like, "Oh, I just know you're the guy that's always getting canceled." But I was like, "What?" I like to put concealer here because it's not really that it's like blemishes or that it's a spot. That's just where my acne scarring is. And whether I do it or if I get it done at the shop, I tend to get concealer put there. And I find that just putting coverage there makes it look a little bit better. And also another thing, my beard. If you are not a man, then you're probably fine. But for the longest, I often forget this because I'm so used to seeing like my beard area that I forget about this, but putting concealer there really makes a difference. Or alternatively, I'll just use color corrector before my foundation, and that also really helps take out the blue. Things like this or like spots, a lot more padding. I'm thinking of dyeing my hair like a really deep red next. I've been wanting to do it for a hot minute, but then I also realized that the guy in ATEEZ, the rapper in ATEEZ, also has it. ATEEZ was at KCON New York this year. They're also going to be at KCON LA. Look, TXT also came this year, and I was so fucking excited for TXT. But I can really tell TXT is very like Korean style in terms of like just their whole concept. I mean, they have like a look that I feel like Koreans are more into, because ATEEZ, when TXT, you know, was their name popped up, and I was like, wow! But then when ATEEZ's name popped up, the crowd reaction was way, way, way louder. When Say My Name came out, I went to that showcase, and they are fucking talented. They can dance. And they're all really fucking good looking. But I can definitely tell that they have like a very strong look. They all kind of look like, and this is just me, they remind me kind of like of Japanese like K-visual bands with like the really sharp features, like really strong features, not necessarily sharp. While people like TXT are definitely more soft in their appearance, but they just have different concepts. So I guess the one thing I will never understand is like why, not that it's bad, kind of like with BTS, I don't know how they exploded in popularity. I tried asking at one of my panels, like, why is AT so popular? Like, where did it begin? But I was just getting, you know,
Because they're talented. Because they work hard.
which is valid, but like lots of groups are talented and work hard, but they aren't as big as like ATs, I guess. I actually ended up on the same flight as ATs on the way back, and I sat next to one of the members. Which member was it? Well, that's for me to know, for you to never find out. I don't know if you can tell the difference. I really should put product on my neck, but I'm too lazy. I'll do that later. I'm gonna do my eyebrows. I bought this peripera Speedy eyebrow auto pencil. It was really cheap. It was like $5. I never really, when I go to Olive Young, I always buy things other than makeup at Olive Young, like cotton pads. Lately, I've kind of been starting here and just making the tail actually pretty long. I'm using my viewfinder as a mirror, so please bear with me. So I finished the tail off. Let me do the other side. I need a mirror. Are they even? For the most part. And the bottom of the front part. Speaking of ATs, a lot of people say that Aoora looks like the rapper in ATs. A lot of people were telling him that. And so Aoora saw them at KCON, saw them perform live, and Aoora often goes through these phases where he gets like inspired by really talented people. So when he saw ATs perform, he like suddenly wants to not be them, but the second day of KCON, he was like, oh, today's concept is ATs, blah, 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 blah. So that's really cute. And make sure this part between my brows is really even, because I can quickly look like I have a unibrow. In no shame to, oh my god, I remember in high school we were doing this thing where in biology class we got partner, and then we had to fill out this thing that was like brown, blue eyes, like your eye color, your hair color, different like physical traits. We were doing it with like a partner, and so it was basically we were like cross-referencing or whatever, so to see what if we like reproduce together, like the kind of, I think it was a study when we were learning about XY chromosomes or whatever. You know, so if we had a baby with this person we were a partner with, like what kind of baby would turn out or whatever, dominant genes, things like that. I remember there's one part about eyebrows, and he was saying that even if you have like very small, like tiny hairs here, that counts as a unibrow, even if it's not like a full-on unibrow here. And you know damn well everyone was just like,
Oh my god, I don't have a unibrow.
I have unibrow, I guess. But you know, I did not put that on that paper. My brow combination, this is like way too dark for I mean, it looks fine, like the shape. I used the pencil for the shape, basically. Now I need to color the brow hairs. The combination I've been doing lately to really lighten my brows is the Pew Skinny Brow Concealer. This is a fantastic concealer. I used to use the Pony Effect one, but... What? Hold on. Oh my god, it's my Lisa Eldridge lipstick. Oh my god. She came out with a summer collection, luxuriously lucent lip color in the shade Go Lightly.
Seamlessness.
Oh my god. I grew up on Lisa Eldridge throughout the year, so I learned a lot of makeup from her. Anyway, I used to use the Pony Effect eyebrow concealer, but it's harder to get and it's a little bit more expensive. This is like $5, and it actually works a lot better. So if you have colored hair and you tend to recolor your eyebrows, this is fantastic. And also if you just tend to dye your hair lighter, again, this is just me, like, you live your life the way you want to live it, but I just think there's something some people like draw their brows on so harsh, and it looks beautiful, but it can be like, especially those that don't wear any other makeup, it can be a little bit like, so if you just lighten your brows a little bit, it actually balances it out and it looks more flattering, I think. And then the number 7 Ash Beige brow mascara from Heavy Rotation. So it's a little bit softer. I put a little bit of eye primer on, so while that's drying, I'm gonna contour my nose a little bit. This is the Canmake one. And again, I still haven't powdered or anything. I'm gonna do that last. Let me show you this powder that I found that I really, really like. That literally gives you, like little smoothing feature on Facetune, like in person. But I'm doing that before powder so that color sticks to my face. I might have to redo this after the powder, so If you guys saw the video I did from using that 16 brand, like that nose contouring thing, they actually have actually I talked about it in that video, the one for the face. I picked that one up and I really like the color. And because I'm powdering last, all the foundation concealer that's on my face, there's still a possibility that it could crease up. So just, I mean, I don't have to pat it out until I powder, but for the video, because if it's one of those things that if there's like something weird on my face, you'll probably keep staring at it. All right, you guys, now this is not a new eyeshadow palette or anything. I've shown this on my channel before when I went to 3C. This is pretty much all I used while I was in New York. I brought so much makeup with me, and I fucking knew it too. Like, I have this tendency to like bring so much makeup with me, but only use a little bit. Luckily, I mean, I was justified because I was doing a lot of other people's makeup in New York. But for me personally, if it was just my bag, it would have been way too much makeup when really I was just using this for my eyes. When I got my makeup done at jenniehouse, the makeup artist there was like, oh, because your eyes are so like defined up here, and like your eyebrow is quite low, she actually concentrated a lot of the shadow beneath and defined that rather than the top. And that was like revolutionary for me because I always put eyeshadow up here and emphasize most of it there, while here I kind of just, it was an afterthought. But it really, I love the way it looked. So I'm still going to put the Beige shadow all over. This is the Go Over palette, and I've been using this a lot because with my hair being like, oh, it's so faded now, more on the peachy orangey side, this suits me really, really well. And this, I really just slap it all over. And it's weird because you like, this is what the color looks like in the pan, but this is how it shows up on my eyes. I don't know. And this whole look that I'm doing, again, is just the look that I did pretty much every day when I went to New York. Lots of oranges. It's pretty much all orange. Now, the second color, which is like the point, I pretty much put that all over the lid here. But this time, I'm really just gonna put it mostly under here. Basically the opposite, and then only put a little bit on the outer corner up here. So I'm taking the middle shade, it's like this peachy pink. I'm actually starting here. Only just touching it up here. Just slightly. And kind of rounding it off up here. And to people that watch my videos all the time, this is gonna look like no different to you. But for me, it makes a difference. This brush from 3C, the dual, the eye smudge and point brush, has been like my go-to brush, again, in New York. And just every day, because it has one brush I can use to apply the base shadow and also blend at the same time. And the other side is basically a smaller version just to get detail. And that's really like all I need. Especially if I'm only using like 2 or 3 eyeshadows. And then using, again, the little tiny one, I'm gonna go in with darkest color. And also, outer corner here. Just because I always need sparkle in my life, the eye switch pot in Stuck. That's what it looks like. Put a little bit. Oh shit, too much. Okay, I went overboard. Don't do that. If I get any glitter or sparkle around on the bottom, I take my spoolie brush, or you know, on brow pencils sometimes the end has this kind of brush. I'll take that and use it to pick up the glitter that fell or whatever. And it's a lot better than using like a brush. It won't pick up the glitter and you end up like smudging your foundation. And then my favorite, Eye Switch, they made this part of their permanent line. So the Mice in Kitchen, I don't know if they still sell this line, but I know they made this one and the Petal one part of their permanent Eye Switch line. Actually, no, I should use a brush. The Picasso 777. Oh my god, way too fucking much. Way too fucking buck wild today. This much is good. This is not. Now, I focused a lot of the shadow on the bottom, but now it's unbalanced because now my top now looks bottom heavy. So what the makeup artist did is actually line my eyes, and she lined it exactly the way I would line it, just kind of extending my eye shape. Just a little bit, but there's a little bit of a difference. This eye is like slightly smaller, I guess, than this eye, or like it closes a little bit more. So for me, I usually just end it like around here-ish, but on this eye, she like kind of stopped the liner like around the top middle. She put mascara on, but only on the bottom, and that really opened up my eye. But she used like a red mascara. I'm gonna use like a pinky brown mascara. Ooh, wait, let me do my lips first. I was gonna do my cheeks. I've been using the 3C Smoothing Lip Tint, the orange one. That's the one I was using. Oh, this one. It was like my go-to, like, every day. But I wanted to show something new on camera, but I have this Peripera Ink Matte Blur Tint. These new things, I bought all the colors. But I just don't like it as much as the 3C Smoothing Tint one. It's supposed to like blur your lips, but this color's way too strong. I can kind of sheer it out and kind of just put a little bit here, and it will blend out a little bit, but it kind of looks weird because you kind of have to put like a pretty decent, not necessarily thick layer, but like a good layer of this on the lips so it gives you that smooth, blurred out look. But if you only put a little bit, it looks really like gross and it kind of just like sticks in the fine lines. Whereas this one, it kind of almost acts like a water tint where it really blends out and gives you a strong color payoff, but you don't have to put too much. Someone's calling me. 나 찍고 있어.
안녕하세요. Hi. 뭐하냐?
Basically, I just like the way this apply. Should I just use this one? Let me just use this one. Conceal the outside first on my lips just to take down the redness. And then just a little bit of translucent powder, like the tiniest amount. This is the Fenty one. On the outside. This also is one of those ones where if you put a thick layer, not thick, a decent layer, it smooths out your lips, but I don't need to do that with this. See, even just like the faintest layer of this is a really pretty color. That looks really uneven. And now it looks too strong because I don't have blush, and I'm gonna use blush. Now, if you thought I couldn't use any more 3C in this video, you're wrong because I'm gonna use more. Oh, sorry. They have the neon collection. I only bought all of the multi-pots. I wasn't really interested in buying the lipsticks. But the orange one, I didn't think I would like this, but I like it. 근데 I only use it like super lightly as a base for my powder blush. Just like a smudge. A little inkling on the cheek. I will say, if you like dewy finish foundations, or you like to have a dewy finish to your base, and you thought you could, because it's a cream product, you can use this as like a cream blush. This has like a powdery matte texture, so I don't know if you can see, but like right here, I had like that glow, but then it got mattified by this. Yeah, I think it works better on top of like more matte finish foundations. I use this as sort of like a base for my powder blush so that it lasts a little bit longer, the color. It's a little bit stronger. I tend to put it a little bit heavy during the day, and then it like calms down throughout the day as my natural oils kind of peek through. And then I'm gonna use soft salmon, soft yono on this powder brush from 3C. Okay, I think I'm done. All the colors done. Now it's time to powder. the powder that kind of changed my life. The 16 brand Blur Pact powder. Before I do this, a really important step. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a piece of tissue paper and split it in half, if it's 2-ply. And I'm going to blot my face to get rid of any excess moisture or oil. And the way I see it is kind of like, you know when people put lipstick on, blot their lips with a tissue and then put more on and it lasts really well? I think it's basically the same concept. That's also what I think about baking. When you bake and you put a lot of powder on your face, what the powder is doing is absorbing all the excess moisture, because that excess moisture can break down your foundation throughout the day, whether it be your natural oils, whether it be the moisture from your skincare, or if there's any oils from like even within your foundation or any of the products on your face. Or if you want a dewy look, this is not, obviously you can skip this, but I'm gonna be putting powder. So I'm absorbing the excess moisture that the powder kind of hits first, because if it's there and I powder it, it will look matte, but it won't last as long because the powder kind of has to go through that initial layer of moisture first. And once it does, there's nothing really left for if later on throughout the day your oil kind of comes through. So really gently, and for a lot of like things like cream concealer, there's like moisture in that as well. All the excess moisture that ended up on the tissue, and especially things like smile lines where moisture can gather, things like that will be affected, and so that's also why I'm doing this. The area around my nose is really fucking dry and patchy, but I don't think there's anything I can do about that. This Blur Pact from 16 brand, I don't know what's in it, but it's more on the thick side. It's different from like an HD powder. I've been trying the Innisfree Blur powder. This is amazing. It's like HD powder, but milled even more. So it's like fucking light, but you have to be careful because if you inhale it, like it gets in your lungs. The thing about it though is that it's really bad at giving you white cast. Like it gives really bad white cast. Even if there's no flash photography, if in person there's white cast, it's weird. But this one has a little bit of thickness to it. So what I have to do is I tap into it, and hopefully you'll be able to see this. Zoom in.
Disgusting!
The difference, here's no powder, and here's with powder. But this is only if you want a really, really matte finish. Let me put on half my forehead so you can tell, because my forehead's kind of like not smooth. Can you see? Like it just looks
so good.
No.
All right, so there we go. There's my look that I've been doing pretty much every day for a while. I bought so much makeup, but I'm still doing this look. Let me know if you want me to do more like talking videos where I talk about things like maybe things that happen in K-pop,
Non-Asians in K-pop.
or like current events, or if I should just stick to beauty. Now it's time to get back to the grind because I've literally been playing Stardew Valley on this shit like every day for 2 weeks now, and it's not healthy. I'll see you ladies later. Bye.
Oh,